It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a lie. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes.
Getting ready to start off the show here. This is Macil Duncan, and welcome to the Macil Duncan Show here live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Well, welcome to the show, my friends. Macil Duncan here, and we've got a couple of things to bring to your attention. If you haven't already heard, the president of Iran was killed in a helicopter crash. And we'll share more in the show about that. We might want to keep, of course, the national leaders in our prayers. There has been an arrest warrant issued for the leader of Israel, President Netanyahu, from an international court. The White House is calling bogus on the arrest warrant. So you've got world upheaval, big time, and it's something for us to pray about. And thirdly, I'll bring to you the Gateway Pundits reporting that the streets are empty in Kiev and parts of the Ukraine. The people are hiding from Zelensky. Interesting stuff going on right now in our world. Today is Monday the 20th, and I hope you're doing well. I had a great weekend. I hope you guys did. Getting ready for the Memorial Day weekend, I want to encourage you guys to consider something. USAHeartbeat.com, who carries my show, and Street Level America. Right now we're live in 32 states across the country, Mexico, and Canada. We're also here live at 96.9 Destiny Media here in Chattanooga. But I want to encourage you, Memorial Day weekend, what a better way to tell your loved ones you love them is My Forever Memories. It's something you should look into. Go to USAHeartbeat.com and go to My Forever Memories. What this is, it's a nice weatherproof glass, if you want to call it, plexiglass, that you can put a picture of your loved one at the gravesite, especially if they're veterans. And it allows for folks to come by and drop notes of appreciation or memories, etc. And if you want to leave that there, or just have a nice picture of your loved one, and it's been tested now for over a year. These are really wonderfully done. Go to the USAHeartbeat.com and learn more. Well, got stuff going on here, as I mentioned. It's rather interesting, and so many things happening that you just kind of. Which one do you start with first? I guess we start with the big news: is the killing. Was it assassination? Was it accidental? The president of Iran is dead.
Has declared 5 days of mourning after its president and foreign minister died in a helicopter crash Sunday. As Erica Brown reports, right now the cause of the crash is unknown.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was considered the second most powerful leader in the nation. His sudden death comes at a time of extreme tension in the Middle East.
Helikopterin parçaları burada.
His helicopter went down in the mountains of northern Iran, and search teams spent hours looking for the wreckage in dense fog. President Raisi was returning from a meeting with the leader of neighboring Azerbaijan. Iran's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, was also killed in the crash. Iran's cabinet said the hard-working president had been martyred, vowing the government would operate without the slightest disruption. The crash comes with Iran and Israel engaged in a so-called shadow war. Last month, Iran launched drone and missile attacks against Israel. Iran also backs terrorist groups fighting Israel, including Hezbollah and Hamas. President Raisi was elected in 2021. But it is Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who controls the government, the military, the courts, and the media. Raisi and the supreme leader were close, and many had considered him a possible successor to the 85-year-old Ayatollah.
So they're using the word martyr, so it makes you believe that, from what they're saying, they believe it's a possibility. Now, Austin, Secretary of State, was asked point blank, was the helicopter crash an accident, or was it an attempt of an assassination attempt? I don't think I've heard a clear answer yet from D.C. Of course, that's not very abnormal to get nothing but silence from this administration when it comes to things of that nature. So we'll bring you more information as it comes. A recent poll, which is an El Shakaruber, 56% support the deportation of illegal immigrants. Now, this is in the Daily Mail, but it's been right at 49-50%, but it has grown in recent weeks. What is going on that's getting the American people more agitated with the illegal aliens in the country? Many feel it could be a combination of the squatters taking over homes, taking money out of the mouths of U.S. citizens with the federal funding, and thirdly, crime. Crime is up, and one crime that is egregious outside of others is the raping. There seems to be a high level of sexual assaults now in the major cities that make women afraid to ride on subways, public transportation, and etc. So you're seeing a lot of this. If you go to the Daily Mail, it says explosive survey shows how many voters want lockups and deportations to tackle migrant surge. More than half of the voters want more illegal migrants rounded up and kicked out of the country. Another third support holding them in deportation camps until they're let go. Now, don't forget, FDR did that with Japan citizens, and some of them were U.S. citizens. So that's nothing new to the country when we were at a war or a time of crisis. You know, when Pearl Harbor was attacked, that was a measure. Many feel if we have an attack on American soil, and don't forget the FBI director, Christopher Wray, has now warned us 6 times. He's gone to Congress and said there are sleeper cells in America, and he would not be surprised if we have some kind of altercation conflicts that would result in the loss of American lives on American soil. If that were to happen, this number would probably grow, but a full 56% of voters said most or all immigrants in the U.S. illegally should be rounded up and deported. This is a Reuters poll that just came out. That is understood to apply to at least 10 million people, and perhaps more would be deported. Now, that's a soft number. Many feel like there's been almost 10 million, the 12 million under the Biden watch alone, that we had close to 20 million in the country illegally prior to Biden taking office. So that if you add the high end, it's 32 million to 35 million, many believe, that are in the country illegally. There's a big compassion tie there. I know there's a lot of folks that have a variety of views, but 56% support the deportation of legal immigrants. And then the next question, do you support detention camps for those awaiting deportation? 36% support it. but 54% oppose that. So I should say 56% support deportation of illegal aliens, but 54% oppose them being held in a detention camp at this time. And I would say as long as there's not an explosive um, event, if you will, a 9/11 type, I think that number would probably remain about the same. But the poll shows widespread concern over massive people that are flowing across the southern border since Joe Biden became president in 2021. Voters' view on immigration align more with the predecessor, Donald Trump, who vows to crack down on illegal immigration if he beats Biden. Trump has spoken of plans to build large camps to hold immigrants pending deportation. In an interview with Time magazine in April, Trump said he would consider using camps, but there wouldn't be that much of a need for them because people would be rapidly deported. So it's all dependent. It's out there, but the thing is, Trump's polls are climbing. Deportation of views of illegal immigrants is climbing. There seems to be I guess, an alignment of the people with that. So we'll see what happens. But I think Joe Biden is finding out his policies are not popular with the people. He's losing on so many battlegrounds that a lot of folks are concerned. And there's even, let me see, Operation Oust Joe Biden is very real. Democrats are setting him up for failure, is one article by Grant Stinchfield. Now, Stinchfield says Joe Biden's latest speech at Morehouse College is further proof that he is being set up for a replacement. So his debate with President Trump. In this episode of Stinchfield, he goes on to give what he gives his theory about the replacement. Now, there's another article that I read, getting Michelle Obama ready. Now, check this out. This guy, Wayne Root, says, I just wrote an acceptance speech for the Democrat convention, and here it is. Read the tea leaves. Get ready for the coronation of Michelle Obama as the Democrat nominee for president at August and DNC convention. Now, if you're a Q follower, those that are on the Ananon, the Where We Go One, We Go All, there's mentioned several times of when will they make the switch to her. And those that follow those theories and the conspiracy theories, many have been proven up till now. This will be a big kicker. If they switch from Joe Biden to a female candidate, and many thought it was Hillary Clinton, but be it Michelle Obama or even Kamala Harris, this will give a lot of rise to the Q people that feel that they have just been misunderstood. And with all these false claims of Trump being reclaimed president, which everyone has now not happened, and devolution is not looking good for them and their theory. But this one part of their belief system could ignite the belief that some have grown weary of the Q movement. I don't know where you're standing on that, but I find it interesting. I like to study these things because many folks that are patriot and love their country ascribe to lots of the Q mantra. So I would be foolish not to pay attention. I've gone to the 8chan and the 4chan boards. I have looked at it. I just can't go along with things that I can't verbally see. I have to be able to see it. I know the doppelganger views. I know some of the other stuff. And supposedly all these folks that were taken to Gitmo and all that stuff. Okay, you're just going to have to, I got to see it to believe it, okay? I quit believing in Santa Claus a long time ago. So I'll just have to wait and see. But it could happen. I will say this. There is some things that have happened that the Q board has predicted that is very solid. Okay? Tippity top is all I'll say. All right, moving on. So if at that time, if you have a replacement of Joe Biden in the race, that could be interesting. Who will debate Donald Trump? Will this be an opportunity? If Joe Biden were to debate Donald Trump, I think it's game over. I think the Democrats know that, so they've got to have somebody that can debate. The other thing I find interesting is the Democrats made a deal with Donald Trump. They would agree to debate him if they left Kennedy off. They would not. Now, Trump has said he'll debate either one. He doesn't mind. But to get Joe Biden to debate him, he had to agree not to invite Kennedy. This is what I don't understand. Why the Democrats don't go ahead and embrace Kennedy? He's got likability. He's got some poll numbers that, if they were to put their war chest around him and embrace him, Kennedy would be a very formidable foe for Donald Trump, especially now the VP pick I don't think is going to help him. She can write some big checks, but she has absolutely no political experience, and I don't think she's going to be bringing any votes his way necessarily. The young people would probably like her, especially the progressive young. But with that said, it's going to be interesting. I tell you, let's see, we're in May. I would say into June. Things are going to happen in June. The Supreme Court decisions are going to come out in June. The big one will be on presidential amnesty. But there's 3 big decisions the Supreme Court will release. They always release their information in June. You have your Democratic and your Republican conventions here in June, 1st of July. So in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, a lot's going to happen. And I think if the Democrats were to make a switcheroo and try to take the momentum, because Donald Trump has handled these trials like a champ. And when we come back, we'll talk about the big win they got today in the New York case. It's done. It's over. Shabam. Some truth was dropped today that pretty much is going to make Alvin Bragg look like the complete idiot that we all thought he was. Now he can legitimately get the big loser sign and have it tattooed on his forehead because he has pretty much probably ruined his political career. And because his star witness admitted to 3 felonies on the stand today under oath. You can't get away from that. That's just a fact, Jack. So we'll see what happens. Also, don't forget the Iranian president has been assassinated or accidentally killed. We're still waiting to get the official word, but he is dead. We need to pray for world peace because there is a lot of agitators out there that would love to see the bombs take off. And we don't want to see that happen. I'll be back after the break. This is the Macil Duncan Show live from Chattanooga.
My name's Doug Henshaw. I'm calling from northeast Tennessee, what they call the Tri-Cities area, Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City. I live in a little town called Elizabethton, and I listen to the Macil Duncan show, number one, because he approaches everything with a biblical worldview in mind, and by saying that, I mean he really seeks and researches to try to find the truth about a matter and the motivation of why people do what they do, and just seeks the truth. And his sources are very reliable sources that he depends upon, and he just gives us the world through the biblical lens of a biblical worldview. That's number one reason why I listen to the show. And I love America because of our founding and our freedoms that we share. We live in the greatest country in the world, and we need to really pray and fight for what we have, and to move back towards what makes us great as America, and that is our founding and what we believe in, a belief in God. And so I love the Patriot Pastor Show, now the Macil Duncan Show. I listen to it on a regular basis, and I pray for the show and pray for Brother Macil.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from
This
my adoptive
DIY.
dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, my friends. This is Macil Duncan, and live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. We've got the Michael Cohen clip here. This is from Forbes saying Michael Cohen just admitted to felony under oath. See what you think.
Thank you, General. My name is Kash Patel, former national security prosecutor, former public defender, and I'm here to tell you, after 6 weeks of unconstitutional trials, we have finally found a crime. Michael Cohen admitted on the witness stand just this morning to 6 different felonies. Admitted on the witness stand just this morning to 6 different felonies. Admitted on the witness stand just this morning to 6 different felonies of stealing Donald Trump's money. After 6 weeks of trial, we finally have a crime.
Wow, so that's the big story that people are jumping on. Even the liberal media, the lip-lock liberals, the CNN on the front page, as the defense may rest in case of a Trump trial today. And it says Trump attorney says prosecution and defense may rest, signaling the former president wouldn't testify after the Cohen debacle. The star witness for Alvin Bragg turns out not to be such a star after all, and I think a lot of folks are saying, hey, you really you bit off a little bit more than you can chew, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, let's see. We've got hang on there. We've got the explosive testimony, as you will, from the Daily Mail, also admitting this. Then you have the Michael Cohen tells courts he stole from Donald Trump and admits he pocketed $30,000 from Trump and lied to Trump's CEO Alan Weisselberg. This just keeps getting better. So Michael Cohen, the lead witness in the ongoing Trump lawfare witch hunt in New York City, admitted Monday in court that he stole from Donald Trump at least $30,000 and lied to CEO Alan Weisselberg. Game, set, match. Cohen is the prosecuting lead witness. Will this faze leftist jurors? This is going to be interesting. Cohen testifies he stole from Trump. It's all over. CNN and MSNBC, all the folks are having to cover this, and it's killing them to do so, as you can tell. And as I mentioned before, when CNN, MSNBC, and the lip-locked liberal media have to admit something that it's not to their advantage, that's got to hurt. It's gotta hurt. And so now the Federalist says the only discernible crime in Trump is the Michael Cohen admitting to stealing $30,000. The only discernible crime in Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's lawfare case against President Donald Trump is the star witness, convicted liar Michael Cohen admitted Monday on the stand that he stole from the Trump organization because he was angry. He admitted. And he also admitted that he would lie to try to cause harm to Donald Trump. Cohen admitted that in 2017 he asked Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg for $50,000 to pay back tech firm Red Finch. Cohen paid the firm $20,000 but pocketed $30,000 for himself because he was angry that he didn't get the bonus from Trump that he thought he deserved, according to the Deadline.com. You stole from the Trump Organization, right? The guy asked, according to MSNBC. Yes, sir, Cohen testified. I stole it. So the star witness, Michael Cohen, who is also a convicted felon, he's lost his law license, and he's lied on the stand before. So this is not. He's already a tainted star witness. For him to admit he stole from Donald Trump right there today, I don't see how this lip-locked liberal judge, Alvin Bragg, I don't see how they survived this without a lot of massaging and minutia blending of the media. If this had been flipped the other way, they would have had no mercy. So Cohen is probably done. All those wonderful YouTubes he did and all the things, all the hate mongering, this is probably going to have to shut him up. The money that Michael Cohen stole from Donald Trump's under his nose by his own admission was part of a $420,000 that Michael Cohen was reimbursed from Stormy Daniels, Cohen explained. So the heart of the prosecution case is that the whole setup from where they were going to repay Michael Cohen $420,000 to reimburse him from Stormy Daniels, that all was done to pay Stormy Daniels. Trump knew it. Trump knew every penny. That's why he's guilty. Now it turns out Trump is getting robbed by his own guy, the supposed fixer. Now, Fox News contributor Jonathan Turley also called the development a hit below the waterline for Cohen, but also the prosecutors. They had a man admitting to a major larceny, but never charged Cohen. They made Cohen not only their man, but allowed him to keep stolen money. Ow, how is Alvin Bragg and them going to explain this away? How many people in New York have probably, for far much less, been prosecuted or has been felt ripped when they see this? This is going to make, I think, voters irate in New York. Not only to want to vote for Trump, but hopefully to get this guy and Lolita James out of office. These two crooks, they're just terrible. Terrible situation. Well, in Louisiana, the governor poised to sign a stringent transgender bathroom bill. Don't know if you heard this. Now, Louisiana did a strong message a few weeks back when they sent a message to the World Health Organization that the state of Louisiana would not adhere to any global laws that tried to supersede the Constitution of America, state, the Bill of Rights, etc. That is something ongoing right now. The World Health Organization says the next time there's a COVID, etc., and they deem it a global crisis, they're wanting countries to lay down their national laws and let the WHO, the World Health Organization, create dictatorial governance for all the world. So, interesting. We'll talk about that later in the show about the mark of the beast. But with this said, Louisiana now has made a second strong stand. Many folks think Alabama is the most conservative, and they tend to be. But Louisiana just created a new bathroom bill saying if you are a transgender or identify as one, you have to use the bathroom of your assigned birth gender. Meaning if boys think they're girls, they have to use the boys' room. Girls think they're boys, they have to use the girls' room. You can't go to Fantasyland and disturb other people. Savvy? This is huge for Louisiana to make this ruling. I expect it to go across the country. So very, very strong. The transgender movement that has been thrown in our face, starting with Mulvaney and Bud Light, has been a dismal failure. And last June, if you remember, Target, Starbucks, Major League Baseball, so many had to pull back on their Rainbow Coalition and all their promoting. And they, in the middle of the month, they all just backed down because of the boycott. We're now approaching June, which again, the gay people try to claim as their Gay Pride Month. This is your opportunity to once again use your money and use your feet. Do not attend and do not spend money or go to things that have these outrageous displays. You remember the Dodgers had the Perpetual of Women something. It's a bunch of guys dressed up as nuns, and they do dance routines. And in part of the dance routine is they climb Jesus. A guy's on the cross pretending to be Christ, and he does a stripper dance like he would a stripper pole, and then he puts his male parts into Jesus's mouth as part of the performance. Now, what person would want to view that personally? And who would want their children exposed to that? That's why the LA Dodgers to this day has been in decline in attendance, finance, and they should be. That should never have happened. Never, ever, ever. You should not do that in front of children. This is the Macil Duncan Show live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll be back after the break.
Hello, my name's Dave. I'm a Vietnam veteran and live in North Georgia, not far from East Ridge, Tennessee. I like listening to Patriot Pastor Macil Duncan. He keeps up with fast-moving news, which keeps me on the cutting edge of information that we all need to know. I like the music and stories he has. I like that he helps the homeless folk, and we could all help with that. I love God, and America is my country. Thank you for all that you do. Goodbye.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
We're back, and how you feel about the economy, my friends? A lot of people today are amazed at how much money is just not going as far as it once did. You hearing people, it's become the constant conversation. And when something's on sale, such as gas or a great deal, it's discussed with great enthusiasm, more than I think I've seen in some time. I remember growing up, and my mother was a coupon shopper. Some of you probably remember those days when the coupons were the thing. But today, people are really feeling the pinch. And even though they're making more money today, many say they still live paycheck to paycheck. Now, did you know the average salary of the 30 to 45-year-old is right at $80,000? And they still don't seem to make it financially. Here's some testimony.
There's the trend on social media of millennials saying they make more than they ever have, but still can't make ends meet.
But I'm making the most money I ever had my entire life. My husband and I, between the two of us, gross, make over $80,000 a year. And if you told me a few years ago that $80,000 a year was not going to be enough for a family of 4.
I make more than what I made back in 2015, but I am still literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet. That's insane. I can't even begin to wrap my head around it.
Financially, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't pay my bills.
Ironically, every single one of them probably voted for it and would again over mean tweets.
So what do you think, my friend? People are concerned about the money. And there doesn't seem to be any relief coming. Why are so many stores going bankrupt? Not only are funds costing more, you're seeing several things. One, ATMs. Did you know we now have 26,000 less ATMs across the country? When they tear up, they're not replacing them. They're just getting rid of them. Be mindful. Just like the payphone, is becoming more and more, just don't see many payphones. The ATMs, they're saying, are going to be going by the wayside. And what will be replacing them is using your phone. And have you seen all these commercials where suppose you call and get these supposedly interest-free loans up to so much time, and then they really stick it to you. You need to make sure you read the fine print. But a lot of businesses are going belly up as well. Check this out.
Time now to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. Today is the last day to return or exchange items at Bed Bath & Beyond. It's the latest step as the big box store joins a growing list of major retailers filing for bankruptcy protection.
Now, this was 11 months ago. Have you noticed how Bed Bath & Beyond's RL Zipperoo, where are they? Now, I think what was interesting about Bed Bath & Beyond, if you didn't know, was they were the first to drop the My Pillow, the conservative pillow guy, if you will, brand, and came out very harsh against him because he questioned the 2020 election results. And by 2021 to 2022, Bed Bath & Beyond went almost down 39% in that when they dropped the pillow guy, and they made that. Well, now they're filing for bankruptcy. Listen to this.
Why are so many stores going bankrupt? Let's connect the dots. The pandemic set off a surge of store closures, with dozens of retailers filing for bankruptcy. But some saw relief in the past few years, as Americans were eager to get out of the pandemic lockdowns and shop again. Now that's changing, with experts saying up to 50,000 storefronts will close over the next few years. 50,000 storefronts will close over the next few years. Most of those coming from clothing and accessory retailers, electronics businesses, and furniture stores. Traditional shopping malls remain at higher risk for closures than neighborhood strip malls. That's because people favor quick trips to stores closer to where they live.
So it's interesting. You're seeing a lot of belly up of the stores, the malls, etc. Because it seems like during COVID, they wanted you to get used to shopping from home and not going to places of business, if you will. The problem with that is very hard for mom and pop shops. There's a lot of the entrepreneurship, if you will, for restaurants and for wanting to start up your own little store. And online business, it may have plus or minuses, but a lot of folks see that as a strong disadvantage, because you don't have that interaction with the people. We'll see what happens. It's a new day. I understand that. But retailers are really are announcing, now this was back in January, announcing the store closures from 2023 and what they predicted for the new year. Well, since this was January and we are almost at the 6-month mark, let's see how accurate they got it.
Retailers closed almost 5,000 stores in 2023, 80% more than the previous year. I'm with Courtney from the Fact Check team. What can we expect in this year?
Did you catch that? 80% more than the previous year. Biden's a failure.
Retailers closed almost 5,000 stores in 2023, 80% more than the previous year. I'm with Courtney from the Fact Check team. What can we expect in this new year?
Well, so far, retailers have announced around 600 store closures for 2024, led by CVS and Walgreens. Other stores like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Foot Locker, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Office Depot will also be closing some of their locations.
So a lot of store closures. The economy it's just not going well. And many of us are feeling it in the fast food line.
Inflation. Consumer prices eased in April, up just 3.4% compared to last year. Housing and gas prices account for more than half of the monthly increase. And Americans are still feeling the pinch when it comes to food, especially when dining out. CBS's Jolene Kent hit the drive-thru for a price check.
Consumers are fed up with higher prices.
Tell me why it was $17 for 3 fillet of fishes.
Huh? Who told y'all was that good to be charging that much for y'all food?
In April, groceries ticked up slightly compared to a year ago, but fast food prices soared 4.8%.
How does that affect your budget? When you're paying more for fast food, what does that do? It makes it harder to live, but then you have to save. So you're like, I can't have my fast food if I save.
In fact, over the last 10 years, analysis from Finance Buzz found a McDonald's Quarter Pounder with cheese meal has more than doubled. Taco Bell's beefy 5-layer burrito spiked almost 200%.
Almost 200%. So you got to ask yourself, why all this spiking in prices? It goes back to policies and your government. And Tim Hawkins explains it very well in his funny little ditty. See if you like it.
Hey everybody, gather round. I'm here to give you anything you like. You want free college, energy, mortgages, whatever you like. You have come to the right place. Why? I'll tell you why. Who can take your money? Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye. A twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government. The government can. The government can. And who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the trees? Who can tax the trees? Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government. The government. Oh, the government can. The government can. And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. Make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make to pay for all of their solutions. Healthcare, climate change, pollution. Throw away the Constitution. And who can give a bailout? Who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. Tell us to behave. And make the founding fathers roll over in their grave. The government. The government. Oh, the government can. The government can. And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. Make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make. They're power hungry and malicious. Their economics are fictitious. Soon we'll have to eat our dishes. Delicious. Oh, who can be a failure? Who can be a failure? In so many ways. In so many ways. Instead of getting fired, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. The government. The government. Oh, the government can. The government can. And the government can, 'cause they make it up with lies and make it all taste good. Make it all taste good. And your Uncle Sam can, 'cause he mixes it with.
Tim Hawkins, The Government Can. You can check out the song, go to YouTube, type in Tim Hawkins, The Government Can, and that's the sad truth. I'll be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If someone came to you offering to put the mark of the beast on your body, would you accept it? I believe the majority's answer would be no. However, the project of the mark of the beast is already a reality in our society, and many people are falling into this trap without even realizing it. Could you be one of them? Would you be able to recognize the signs that this is already happening? In today's video, I want to alert you about this serious matter.
Now, we're going to talk about this, a couple of clips I've got for you set up. Are you aware that there is a possibility of the mark of the beast sooner than we think, with them trying to go cashless? And if you go to Revelations 13, it talks about when the Antichrist takes over. And with the World Health Organization already testing the waters of all nations bowing their sovereignty to a global leadership of the World Health Organization. Understand that the process is under works, that eventually there will be an Antichrist, a global leader that will lead the world and promising peace, of course. And don't you remember Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality and all these other shows? What do we want? World peace, world peace. They're going to keep sending that through subliminal messages, and some of you are going to fall for that, even maybe possibly within the body of Christ, because it says some will be fooled. But take a listen to this. This is from the 700 Club, and talking about how artificial intelligence could not always be good. It just might have an evil intent. Could artificial intelligence be opening the door for global dominance for the Antichrist?
Well, we love hearing from you, and we have some email questions we'd like to share with you today. The first one comes from a woman named Marithel, and her question, Gordon, is AI satanic?
Marithel, no, it's not. AI is a series of algorithms, and so it's a mathematical equation. And in that, no, there's nothing spiritual about it because it has no spirit. It's electrons moving through silicon wafers. So the problem with AI is that it's made in our image, and that's a big problem. You and I are made in God's image, and He's given us the ability to choose to do good or the ability to choose to do evil. And it's unfortunate that all too often we choose to do evil. So AI is looking at information, and that information is all on the World Wide Web. And if you've even done any casual web searches, you know there's a lot of bad things out there. And so if AI is looking at all of that, it's going to start mirroring that.
So artificial intelligence, is it having an effect? Well, it's made a global statement the Ukraine just announced the Ukraine unveils a new AI-generated foreign ministry spokeswoman. So, Gordon, I have to disagree with you. I believe AI will be used for evil, and it will be used by the Antichrist. But that doesn't make Gordon a bad guy or make me a nut job. It just tells you my opinion. But the Ukraine has unveiled a new AI-generated foreign ministry spokeswoman. Okay? Think about this. Who will now make official statements on behalf of the Ukraine foreign ministry. And the AI is modeled after the Ukrainian singer Rosalie Nombre. She looks a lot like AOC if you go look at the... but this is an artificial intelligence. It's not a live human. But the Ukraine, the money that you and I and our tax dollars have spent billions over to the Ukraine, they have created now a ministry, a foreign ministry spokeswoman, and so it will be AI generated. So I want you to think about this. If the Ukraine is coming up with this, how many other countries are going to start having AI generated representatives? Could be interesting. Artificial intelligence. Now there's other things happening with them trying to push for gender-free society, to do away with men and women, do away with what we know as traditional families, and start having these, I guess you would even call them unions, with artificial intelligence and these robotic beings that they're making. Japan's already making female companions, and I think they probably are male, but men are buying them up to $20,000 to $30,000, and they do supposedly anything a female can do. We'll leave it at that. So there is, to me, a satanic issue with the potential of all this technology coming in. Now, here's another. This is a secular media talking about a chip, if you will. This is the Straight Arrow News. See what you think of this.
Last week, Straight Arrow News reported Neuralink knew of potential issues with the wire threads in its brain chip implant after several wires detached from the brain of the company's first human patient. The device allows users to control digital interfaces using only their brain signals. Now, after Elon Musk made significant design modifications to the implant to fix the detachment problem, the Food and Drug Administration has given the thumbs up for a second human trial for the brain chip technology. An estimated...
Now, what does the Food and Drug Administration have to do with brain implants? Interesting. Interesting. So, the implants in the brain. Now, don't forget what Klaus Schwab told us in Davos 3 years ago. You'll own nothing and be happy. He also said in the future, the human will use their brain. They will not need a keyboard or a computer screen. You will actually see everything inside your brain and using brain activity. Now, I ask you, Fred, if you put a chip not just in your hand, as Revelation says for commerce, or the forehead, is a possibility that the computer chip in the brain will control you. Don't forget what it says in Revelation. Anyone that takes the mark of the beast will not, I repeat, will not enter the kingdom of God, because there's a good chance, possibly when you accept the chip, you might be completely surrendering your body, mind, and soul to another source, another force, if you will, if you're into the Star Wars. Going back to my source just a moment ago, check this out to the break.
Necessary to analyze some points. The first one is to understand the difference between the information that the world transmits to us through the internet and television and the truths that the Word of God has already revealed to us. The big problem occurs when many prefer to seek knowledge only through these means of communication and forget to seek knowledge in the Bible. For this reason, many end up being deceived and falling into traps without realizing that they are on the wrong path. I often say that the Bible is more up to date than yesterday's newspaper, because if you look at the book of Revelation, you will see that many things happening around us had already been prophesied, but unfortunately, many do not pay attention to it. That's why in Revelation chapter 13, verse 14, the Bible says, "And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast." Just look at what is written. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. Look at this, brothers and sisters, signs will be performed in the name of the first beast, and it is through these signs that the inhabitants of the earth will be deceived. And to better understand these signs, we need to analyze the information that the prophet Isaiah left us regarding the fall of Lucifer. See what he said. "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High." The words of Lucifer were nothing more than causing rebellion in heaven, for he did not have enough authority and power to take God's place. Along with him were other angels who also rebelled and were cast out of heaven. See what is written. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. It was the feeling of pride that dominated the heart of Lucifer and led him to rebel against God, for he desired to be worshipped and exalted as his creator. The fall of Lucifer is the first point you need to understand to grasp the subject we are addressing. The second point concerns Jesus' temptation in the desert, in which Satan used all his strategies to make him sin. The Bible tells us that Satan tried to deceive Jesus in 3 specific areas, and it is in these same areas that the enemy continues to tempt each one of us. In our present days, Satan tries to deceive Jesus by asking him to turn stones into bread to satisfy his hunger. Then he takes Jesus to the highest point of the temple in Jerusalem and challenges him to throw himself down, questioning whether the Lord would fulfill his promise to send angels to protect him. Finally, Satan desired Jesus to bow down before him in exchange for dominion over all the kingdoms of the world.
And that's what the devil will try to do to you and to me. He is constantly throwing temptation, distractions, and makes you feel like, hey, maybe it's just not true what the Bible says. But, oh, my friend, it is. There's coming a day of judgment, and I believe the Word of God, and I believe in the Son of God. This is the Macil Duncan Show here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'll be back after the break.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this this year's been going?
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figuerella, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr.
And when I was
Figueroa
vice
uses her
president-
passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit.
Okay, there's a problem here. When the pandemic hit, you weren't the vice president, pal. Okay? It happened when Donald Trump was president, and then you became president after that. Somebody needs to ask, has there been enough of Joe Biden to call for a recall? Now, I shared this with you earlier. There is some scuttlebutt that there will be a replacement of Mr. Biden. Operation Oust Joe Biden is very real. Democrats are setting him up for failure, according to many sources here. And Stinchfield, who has a very popular podcast, as you probably have heard of him, he's under the impression that the Democrats will replace him at the Democratic convention. Actually, the former Ohio governor, also the GOP governor, said that as well. Well, Wayne Root wrote this article, Get Ready for Michelle Obama. I just wrote her acceptance speech for the Democratic convention, and here it is. Read the tea leaves. Get ready for the coronation of Michelle Obama as the Democrat nominee for president in the August DNC convention. Now, they have, by the way, backed their, I think this is interesting, their convention normally is in June and July, and now they've backed it up to August. Isn't this interesting? First, it's clear that Trump cannot be beaten by an old, feeble, feckless, deceptive man with dementia and diapers. This guy is writing. Just this weekend, Joe Biden spoke proudly of his response to the COVID pandemic while he was Vice President. Biden said President Obama sent him to Detroit to fix it. Now, I'm going to play for you the clip again. This is Joe Biden. These are his words. No one's putting words in his mouth. Showing that, once again, he's either off his meds or he's just completely having a bad day.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it.
Now, people on stage are actually laughing. If you go watch the clip, now this happens to be the New York Post posting this. I'm going to let you hear. This is your president having another moment in front of the world.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it.
Barack told him to go to Detroit and fix it. How? What would make Detroit? Let's listen. There's more.
Well, poor Mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you. And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor Mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you. And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it.
So I played that just so you would understand there's a problem. There is a problem. And I think we're finding out more and more that Dementia Joe, he's not the man that he once was. I don't say that because I voted against him. I say that because as he's supposed to be our leader, I'm concerned as a citizen. You've got in case you haven't heard, the president of Iran was shot down, his helicopter, okay? Okay, the president, leader of Israel, Netanyahu, has had an arrest warrant by an international court. The Gateway Pundit's reporting that over in the Ukraine, the streets are empty. People are hiding from Zelensky. Those are three powerful countries, if you will, that are in the news a lot, having a weird weekend and a weird Monday. On top of that, you've got Joe Biden not able to explain with any comprehension about the COVID. And that Barack Obama was not president during COVID, okay? And so, but then that leads credence to those that said, see, that just proves that really Obama is in charge right now, and he's whispering, as he said he would love to have a third term where someone else stood in front of the cameras and he whispered and controlled by speaking through his ear. You know, if that, I would not be honest if I didn't tell you I could see that being reality today. Don't know. I'm not saying I have proof of that, but just from what you see with your own eyes, the guy doesn't seem to be all there. Okay? Well, MSNBC anchor abruptly ends interview with Senator Marco Rubio. She is bringing up the election. This shows you how concerned they are with the upcoming 2024 election. And they're trying to pressure Rubio, who is, of course, a leader in the GOP, to accept the election results, carte blanche.
Will you accept the election results of 2024 no matter what happens, Senator?
No matter what happens? No, if it's an unfair election, I think it's going to be contested by either side.
Senator, no matter who wins.
I think you're asking the wrong person. The Democrats are the ones that have opposed every Republican victory since 2000. Every single one. It's Hillary Clinton.
No Democrat has refused to concede. Hillary Clinton conceded. Senator, will you accept the election results?
Hillary Clinton said the election was stolen from her and that Trump was illegitimate. Kamala Harris agreed.
Senator,
we have Democrats now.
Senator, she conceded the election. And attended the inauguration.
She said that Trump was illegitimate. She said that the election had been stolen.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Okay, that's a Democrat. How come that is not considered egregious? But that's the left for you. It's not do as I say or do as I do. It's do whatever I tell you to do, and this is what's sad, and this again is Joe Biden, and this is yesterday.
Yesterday.
He calls the erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill patriots.
And I'm not trying to be nasty, but he didn't use the word you thought he used. I'll replay it. He kind of used a word referring to a sexual moment.
He calls the erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill, patriots, calls the erectionists.
This guy's nuts.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit. And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic.
Biden on Trump's next Supreme Court pick. Do you think he'll put anybody in that has a brain? Interesting, is it not? If this was a Republican, the media would be merciless. But that's why I think a lot of us don't understand why the pass. Why do they get away with so much? It's unbelievable. And here's some more political fodder on Mr. JoJo. Biden to visit Saudi Arabia, a country he vowed to treat as hostile. He's all of a sudden wanting peace with Saudi Arabia.
I can announce today that our National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, will travel to Saudi Arabia starting tomorrow. He'll be there to meet with Prime Minister and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to discuss bilateral and regional matters, including the war in Gaza, of course, and ongoing efforts to achieve a lasting peace and security in the region.
Now, this is what doesn't make sense to they don't live up to their I guess their campaign. Again, I'm going to read to you again. Mr. Biden made it clear that he was not going to deal with Saudi Arabia. Biden to visit Saudi Arabia, a country he vowed to treat. Hang on just a second. As a para. President Joe Biden is expected to visit Saudi Arabia this month as his administration works to repair relations with a longtime U.S. ally, as if somehow Trump had done something bad with them. Biden warns of consequences for Saudi Arabia following cuts in oil production. And he talked about there's going to be some consequences for what they've done with Russia, in that they've sold, evidently, oil to Russia. Well, the thing that a lot of folks say, well, if you're going to come down on Saudi Arabia for making oil deals with Russia, what about your deal with Germany? When you first came into office, Pinhead, you shut down the Alaska pipeline here in America, and then you helped open the German pipeline to Russia, making Russia very wealthy because their oil flew into Germany and Europe and probably financed a big chunk of the Ukrainian war. I think a lot of folks were just befuddled at why they will not call Biden out on any of these things. But it's going to be interesting to see. Now, this is an update on Donald Trump. See what you think.
Despite the fact that the mainstream legacy news outlets chose not to cover it, well, in a campaign speech that President Trump delivered over in New Hampshire, he gave the country a bit of a glimpse into the specific method that he'll use to try and destroy the administrative state.
More of that when we come back, and how Trump says he can control the deep state.
Hello, my name's Dave. I'm a Vietnam veteran and live in North Georgia, not far from East Ridge, Tennessee.
How's the chicken? Oh, the prawns are delicious.
Oh, I have a shellfish. Macil Duncan. He keeps up with fast-moving news, which keeps me on the cutting edge of information that we all need to know. I like the music and stories he has. I like that he helps the homeless folks, and we could all help with that. I love God, and America is my country. Thank you for all that you do. Goodbye.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its
We are
prediabetes awareness
anticipating.
partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
We are anticipating this week to be the final stretch in Trump's New York criminal trial. His attorneys say they expect to wrap up their questioning today, could be at any time. Then the prosecution can choose to ask Cohen a second round of questions. He is their final witness. After that, if they choose to do that, the defense then presents its case. Former Commander-in-Chief talked on the way in today.
All of the things you see that you saw over the last 4 weeks, most of it should have never even been brought up. And then on top of that, there's no crime. And we go on day after day, and I tell Iowa, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make it.
So what's happening here is as the Donald Trump trial goes on, the only discernible crime, according to the Federalist that just wrote this, is that Cohen admitting to stealing $30,000. That's right. On the stand today, Michael Cohen, who's had his law license revoked, he has been convicted for lying and perjury. Cohen admitted that in 2017, he asked the Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg for $50,000 to pay back tech firm Redfinch. Cohen paid the firm $20,000, but pocketed $30,000. Okay, and he admitted that on the stand today. So the quote was, "You stole from the Trump Organization, right?" He said, "Yes, sir." Cohen did. So as he is now admitting to that, he admitted to 6 different thefts on the stand today under oath, and yet he's considered the star witness for Alvin Bragg's prosecution against Donald Trump. And here's another quote from MSNBC. The money that Michael Cohen stole from under Donald Trump's nose, by his own admission, was part of the $420,000 Michael Cohen reimbursed for Stormy Daniels, and explained, so the heart of the prosecution case is that the whole setup where they were going to repay Michael Cohen $420,000 to reimburse him from the Stormy Daniels situation that was done to pay Stormy Daniels. They said, evidently, they're saying that Trump knew it, but there's no signature. There's nothing to verify that, okay? So they've got a problem with Cohen. They had a man admitting to a major larceny but never charged. How does Alvin Bragg, Lolita James, and these folks just walk the streets? I mean, this is in just crazy land. I think a lot of folks are very outraged that this has happened and being allowed to happen, and it's very sad, very sad. CNN News also is admitting that there's a problem, and they think that the Cohen is very damaging. There's another report here. Jim Hoff writes, Michael Cohen tells court he stole from Donald Trump, admits he pocketed $30,000 from the Trump administration, and he lied to Trump's CEO, Alan Westberg. So the fixer fixed it for himself, evidently, and his chickens are coming home to roost, my friends. And that's what happens when you tell lies like that. So very interesting. We'll see what happens. But Donald Trump, I played for you a little clip right before the break. He claims he knows how he can, you want to call it drain the swamp, or deal with the problems in D.C. Because let's face it, under the very progressive administrations of the Clintons, the Bushes, and the Obamas, I mean, they had a long time, and they appointed over 12,000 of these deep-rooted, deep state appointments, and they make it very hard to fire them. That's why when Donald Trump froze out, if you remember, and would not agree to the budget deal, if you go so many weeks and you don't have funds, then because of no funds, you can eliminate positions, but you can't fire them based on any other reason but finances. So don't be surprised if Donald Trump uses that tool again. But here's another tool. Trump evokes a long-lost executive power to gut administrative state. Now, I don't know why he's mentioning it, but I guess he's putting them on notice. This is what Donald Trump said, and the Epic Times is reporting.
The fact that the mainstream legacy news outlets chose not to cover it, well, in a campaign speech that President Trump delivered over in New Hampshire, he gave the country a bit of a glimpse into the specific method that he'll use to try and destroy the administrative state if he were to be reelected. Essentially, President Trump proposed a new policy. This new policy, it's centered around a little-known executive power, a power that was used by presidents for well over 150 years before being stripped away a half-century ago. However, according to this new proposal, President Trump said that he would work to restore what's known as the power of impoundment. This power, it would effectively allow him to starve the federal bureaucracy, which is exactly why we put together an entire episode outlining exactly what this power is, its history, how it came to be lost, as well as what will need to happen in order for it to be restored. Click on the button right below this video, try the Epic Times, and watch the full-length report for yourself. If you've been on the fence about trying the Epic Times, tune in. We're running a phenomenal sale. The math is only about $1 a month.
So you can go check on the Epic Times if you want, and it's pretty good. But they give a big detailed dive on how Trump can use this executive power, privilege, if you will, to reclaim advantage over the deep state. And I think many folks would like to see that. Well, speaking of an advantage, a lot of folks were shocked that a kicker from Kansas City, who now has the #1 selling jersey in the NFL, making statements about morality, happy marriage, happy wife, happy life, etc., how that could be so outrageous and offensive to the left. but they found a reason to get mad.
Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker is facing major backlash after addressing the graduates of a Catholic school, Benedictine College.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
Our next guest says Butker showed courage and conviction. Hall of Fame football coach Lou Holtz joins us now. Coach, great to have you on the show. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm proud to be part of Fox and Friends.
Well, we're proud to have you on Fox and Friends. So you heard what Harrison Butker had to say. You think it's courageous. Tell us why.
Oh, absolutely. But let's remember this. He wasn't talking to an abortion clinic. He was talking to a Catholic university. I've spoken to Benedictine University at their commencement. I've been there several times. It's a wonderful school, but nobody told me what to say. When they asked to be a commencement speaker, and I've been there 16 times, you speak from your heart on the things you believe in. And when our first child of 4 was born, Dr. George Oliver said, Coach, I don't care how many championships you win. If you aren't successful as a husband or father, you have failed. And that is really true.
Right.
Yeah, and that really was his message. I mean, he talked about masculinity. I want to get to that clip, but before I do.
So we'll play more of the clip later. But Kansas City under investigation for alleged human rights violations after doxing the Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. There was such backlash. They doxed him. They tried to get him fired, and it just freaking backfired. The owner of the Chiefs' wife and daughter came out in defense of his speech, and defending him, a head coach from the Pittsburgh Steelers says if he is fired, he will quit and never coach again in the NFL. That's a heavy hitter. So there's been a huge well of support for the kicker. Not to mention, his number 7 jersey is the number 1 NFL selling jersey in the NFL right now, and his quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Many think the best quarterback right now in the league. So this is interesting because of a strong statement of faith for morality, pro-life. He went from being persecuted to being celebrated, if you will. And don't you find it interesting? His number is number 7. That's a good number. That's a God number. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And we'll talk more about this in the 5 o'clock hour. But way to go. I give a pastor salute to the kicker from the Chiefs. And I want him to hear, if he can, Mr. Butker, you've got our support, our prayers. And I just say way to go, and may your tribe increase. If you would like to call and leave a message in support of America or the Patriot Pastor Show, you can call 629-282-1776. That's 629-282-1776. We're having my listeners call around the country to 629-282-1776 and leave good messages. Here's some you'll hear now.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going.
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
About Hollywood, Emmy-winning actress Drayden Mateo has told Donald Trump Jr. during a podcast that there are many well-known celebrities, including herself, who are opposed to President Joe Biden's agenda, but they're hesitant to voice their opinions.
And people in Hollywood are petrified. What are you going to speak out against race and sex and all of that stuff? People are afraid to have those conversations because, first of all, you never win with a liberal. Yeah. You're just never going to win.
Kinsey, she's right, but we do have plenty of celebrities who are eager to voice leftist political opinions, and they're getting louder and louder right now on social media, from Susan Sarandon to Barbara Streisand to Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I think when it comes to politics, you know, this is a polarizing rematch, Trump versus Biden, and the stakes are very high. So I do feel like you're seeing a lot of celebrities that we typically see in our faces around this time, like Taylor Swift, disengage. But don't forget, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson endorsed Biden in 2020, but recently argued that he won't make that mistake again. He told Fox and Friends, the endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was one that I thought was the best decision for me at the time. Am I going to do that again this year? The answer is no, I'm not going to do that. Musician Macklemore it recently released a scathing song tearing into Joe Biden, saying, "I will not be voting for you this fall." But here we are in June, celebrity-fueled Los Angeles fundraiser starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts. So some are bailing, and then there are some that I guess I would consider in the shameless category, trying to prop up this 80-year-old man.
So that's Sky News from Australia, and they're basically saying Hollywood's kind of divided, if you will. Some are actually coming out of the closet and saying that they're going to deal with him. So deal with Biden and not support him. I think it's going to be very interesting. If you missed the news, this is the president of Iran has been killed, and this is the official announcement.
Has declared 5 days of mourning after its president and foreign minister died in a helicopter crash Sunday. As Erica Brown reports, right now the cause of the crash is unknown.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was considered the second most powerful leader in the nation. His sudden death comes at a time of extreme tension in the Middle East. His helicopter went down in the mountains of northern Iran, and search teams spent hours looking for the wreckage in dense fog. President Raisi was returning from a meeting with the leader of neighboring Azerbaijan. Iran's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, was also killed in the crash. Iran's cabinet said the hard-working president had been martyred, vowing the government would operate without the slightest disruption. The crash comes with Iran and Israel engaged in a so-called shadow war. Last month, Iran launched drone and missile attacks against Israel. Iran also backs terrorist groups fighting Israel, including Hezbollah and Hamas.
So you have that tragedy, and they're calling it a martyrdom, is what the Israelis are calling it, and claiming that that their president was taken out unjustly, if you will. But we're waiting to hear from the State Department officially. But Zelensky, this is interesting. There's a mandate expires today. The streets are empty, and men hide from new conscription law. The mainstream media questions the power of presidential aide Andy Yermak, the power outages all over the country. So all the money, the billions we've been sending to Ukraine right now, the people are not on the streets. They're in hiding. And so we've come to a point of the war in the Ukraine in which the West knights in shining armor, the defender of the democracy, Zelensky, has outrun his constitutional presidential mandates and is now in power only by the virtue of the martial law that he has enacted. In case you haven't heard, he did suspend elections, so he is technically declared martial law, and he is no longer, in many people's eyes, the leader because he did not allow the people to vote. So by having this martial law, people are just hiding from him. And this is just the most dramatic and absolutely disheartening for Kyiv, I can't say it, series of developments. To begin with, the series of videos have surfaced showing how the streets of the Ukraine now are deserted, with men hiding from conscription, being drafted into the army, and somehow anyone else seemed to have stayed at home too, trying to avoid any of the laws that Zelensky's tried to, I guess, impose upon the public. Now, I played a clip a while back where our money is paying for their small businesses. If you have a small business in the Ukraine, did you know, thanks to your tax dollars, they all get a stimulus check from America to help with their small businesses? Wouldn't you like a check if you were an American and your small business? Wouldn't you like a check for you and your family? The other thing is we're paying for 57,000 of their firemen, their police. We're paying the salaries of 57,000 community workers, if you will. All of them got a 60% pay raise in Parliament. Zelensky's wife went on a $2 million shopping spree this past Christmas. Also, FTX, we found out that Zelensky invested millions of the dollars that we gave him while he was in a war down at FTX down in the Bahamas, and that money supposedly got lost on the midterm elections, if you guys remember, of 2022. And somehow all that money went poof in the air, billions of dollars. But don't forget, FTX was the second largest donor to the Democratic Party behind George Soros. So all those funds from from America to the Ukraine and wherever it's going, because we're not been told. And one thing Speaker Johnson promised was accountability. And if we gave money to foreign officials of foreign countries, that we would be told what the money's spent on. That hasn't happened. So a lot of concern is, where's the money going? Why is it going in such large amounts and continue to go without explanation? The accountability doesn't seem to be there, and I think a lot of folks want to know why. And I think that's what's going to be a mandate of the 2024 election. But it's interesting that right now in the Ukraine, You have a guy that's extended his own presidency. He's illegitimate in many people's eyes as the leader. But on top of that, you happen to have Netanyahu strikes back. Israel Prime Minister denounces the International Criminal Court who issued an arrest warrant for him. Okay? Filed against him and his defense minister, Gallant. Now, as I mentioned before, you've got the leader of Israel with an arrest warrant from a criminal court. You have the president of Iran and one of his top officials killed in a helicopter crash. And then you have Zelensky, what I call G.I. Joe, midget G.I. Joe, because during the Trump administration, when he was made president, if you remember, he wore three-piece suits, looked very presidential. But as soon as Joe Biden became president and the Russia-Ukraine war, he became camo boy, putting on camo pants and a green top, and he wears that everywhere he goes now like he's some little general. And when he came to America and spoke of the Joint Chiefs, of the Joint Congressional Gathering of the Senate and Congress, he also spoke on some award shows. Hollywood really lifted him up. He looked, again, like a little G.I. Joe, but the interesting thing was him and Joe Biden set a record at the UN. They both spoke back-to-back recently at the UN and had the lowest, I say lowest, attendance ever for world leaders. Joe Biden, it was crickets. All the major leaders skipped the President of the United States speech. Well, Zelensky was following, and to try to make up for it, they tried to manipulate the audience, some of the media, with filling it from old footage. The mistake they made was Zelensky's outfit that's very distinguishable, the green top and the fatigue bottoms. He was speaking to himself in the audience, proving media manipulation. And I think a lot of folks are getting more and more concerned about the media and how they're not being what we thought they were supposed to be. Media is supposed to be somewhat of a true blue, if you will. And I think a lot of folks are seeing the media as something that they can't trust. More Americans want journalists to hold their political views, according to a recent poll. Check this out.
Roughly 2 out of 5 Americans say it's important to get news from journalists who share their political views. This, according to a new survey conducted by the Pew Research Center. Americans say journalists sharing their political views is more important than sharing their religious views, age, race, gender, and the way they talk. 47% of conservative Republicans and 50% of liberal Democrats say it's important to get news from journalists who share their political beliefs. 29% of moderate Republicans and 33% of moderate Democrats say the same. News consumption habits are also changing amongst Americans. Pew also found a shift in how Americans get their local news, with a move to online rather than from TV or print. The share of adults paying close attention to local news has dropped since 2018, when 41% has dropped. Adults paying close attention to local news has dropped. The share of adults paying close attention to local news has dropped. The share of adults paying close attention to local news has dropped. Local news has dropped since 2018, when 41% of Americans said they received their local news on the TV, compared to 32% in 2024. In 2018, just over a third of Americans said they got their news online, and now that share has risen to nearly half. And a large majority of
Thus, the Patriot Pastor Show, and while I'm in 32 states, Mexico, Canada, over 26 other countries download the show. Why do they want to listen to a pastor? Because I tell you the truth, that's why.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this. We reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles
Do you
below
really
the
want to?
surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Donald Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen returned to the witness stand for the 4th day. And Cohen admitted that he once stole from Donald Trump's company, the Trump Organization. Cohen testified that when he was being reimbursed for the $130,000 he paid the porn actress Stormy Daniels, he also submitted a reimbursement for $50,000 he said he paid to a technology company, a company that he hired to gin up results in a poll involving Trump and other prominent business leaders. So Cohen pocketed $60,000 to $80,000 that should have gone to the reimbursement, the payment to that technology company, and taxes. Now, Cohen's 4th day of testimony was preceded by arguments and discussion amongst the lawyers, particularly about the schedule of the trial. Judge Juan Merchan said he does not expect closing arguments until the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
So it's going to be interesting as Cohen and CNN, all the major agencies have reported that he has admitted to grand larceny on the stand under oath, and he's their key witness. This is really making Alvin Bragg and them look pretty much like the idiots we all knew they were, but this is leaving absolutely no doubt. And in case you haven't heard, the Iran situation.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi and the country's foreign minister were both confirmed dead this morning after their helicopter crashed yesterday when it encountered a sudden dense fog. Iran had offered no cause for the crash nor suggested sabotage brought down the helicopter. The International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor says that they are seeking arrest warrants for 3 Hamas leaders, as well as warrants for Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Israel's foreign minister called the prosecutor's decision a historic disgrace.
So interesting global news there. You've got a dead president, one that's been found guilty in some kind of a general court. And we'll see what happens, see how it plays out. But it's very, very interesting. But the Biden administration unveils new tariffs on Chinese imports. This might shockaroo you, but evidently Biden's wanting to bring more China goods to America. Shocker? Not really.
This morning, the Biden administration unveiling a series of new tariffs on Chinese goods, impacting $18 billion in imports, including electric vehicles. In a press release announcing the increased tariffs, the White House says China's unfair trade practices concerning technology transfer, intellectual property, and innovation are threatening American businesses and workers, adding China is also flooding global markets with artificially low-priced exports. The new tariffs will take effect over the next 3 years. Tariffs increasing this year include goods such as EVs, batteries, solar cells, medical products like syringes and needles, as well as steel and aluminum. The tariff rate on EVs will increase from 25% to 100%. You can now get notified about our latest stories on the electric vehicle industry by downloading the Straight Arrow News app to your mobile device and signing up for alerts.
So that is Biden trying to, I guess, pretend a little bit like Trump by putting a tariff on the Chinese imports, but evidently they're coming anyway. It's a 100% tariff. We'll see how that plays out. Well, no room for them in the inn was Jesus' birth situation, but there seems to be the same now, these 2,000 years later, and Israel. 700 Club on CBN News reports.
No room at the inn for Jesus and Israel. A Nashville hotel has canceled a pro-Israel event scheduled for next week.
A Nashville hotel. Now, Nashville is the largest growing city right now in the country, and it's already bowing to the Palestinian river to the sea mantra.
And Israel. A Nashville hotel has canceled a pro-Israel event scheduled for next week. According to First Liberty Institute, the Sonesta Airport Hotel abruptly canceled the summit booked for Ha Yovel Ministry because hotel event staff received threatening phone calls. Ha Yovel has a location in Israel. It's committed to bringing volunteers to the Holy Land to serve the people of Israel. The ministry believes the calls came from, quote, pro-Hamas thugs threatening to commit acts of violence if the event proceeds. Folks, let's call this what it is: caving in to the demands and threats of terrorists. It's not enough that U.S. colleges and universities have allowed pro-Hamas occupiers to commit acts of violence and disturb normal life on their campuses, but now private businesses acquiesce to anti-Semitic threats, real or unreal. Why do I describe this as terrorism? Because the goal of terrorists is to spread fear to get their way. It's mafia tactics. If people don't comply with your demands, scare them with a bloodied horse head in their bed, and they'll get the message. Remember that one from the Godfather movie? Well, today it's threats of violence on social media and smartphones. Yes, legitimate threats need to be taken seriously to protect hotel employees, but why not beef up hotel security and impose an added charge for the event? First Liberty sent a letter informing the hotel that they'd prefer to resolve issues out of court and urged them to reverse the decision. They wrote the cancellation had, quote, the unmistakable and distinctly unpleasant odor of pretext for religious discrimination. Agreed. Folks, is this how we're now going to proceed in America? Down this road of anti-Semitism and discrimination, where we cower from threats of violence from the anti-Israel crowd? It's time to confront the spread of hatred and fear, whether on display on our college campuses or from behind a hotel reservation desk. Well, that's it today from the
So, good point there, using the analogy, no room for Jesus or Israel in the end. So you got a hotel there that's capitulating into the mantra of no business for Israel. And the Revelations is very clear. In the end times, Israel will be cut off, and there'll be 8 nations that go against Israel, and we'll see who those 8 nations officially are. Many Bible scholars try to name them, and of course, what you're basically doing is guessing based on what you know of today and what you know of the Bible. But it's okay to look at those things. But I think it's very interesting that there's so many people out there having these beliefs and these views. And like Bill Marsh said just a few weeks ago, people didn't have these views. They didn't have this, but it's just become very apparent. Now, this, again, I like to play. This is the mayor of New York, a Democrat, who I appreciate him saying what he said about these Palestinian rallies.
There is a movement to radicalize young people, and I'm not going to wait until it's done.
Eric Adams, who's obviously the mayor of New York City, was asked about the various groups that have been showing up to Columbia, because we just have no numbers on how many of these people are students in the first place.
I saw similar indicators from the Black Lives Matters March, when it was from the Black Lives Matters March.
First place.
I saw similar indicators from the Black Lives Matters March, Black Lives Matters March, Black Lives Matters March, when it was brought to my attention.
So when you look at these groups, and it always right before an election, Antifa, then you've got Black Lives Matter, now you got the Palestinian shabam-bams, whatever. Right before an election, you got to wonder, okay, what's going to be their little rabbit trick when it comes to 2028? But every 4 years, the Open Society, which is run by George Soros, funds these groups. Now, what they've done also, funding bus rides, airplanes, travel plans for all these folks to come from foreign countries to American border. They're not doing this because of humanitarian concern. There is an angle here, and 3 angles come to mind, and I'll try to get it before the break. One is political, because as you know, the Democrats want to recapture the House, and when they do the new census, if they are allowed to count anyone that gets federal funding, whether they're citizens or not, that will gain them seats, because majority of the folks are in either sanctuary cities or sanctuary states. Savvy? So by doing that, they'll pick up possibly up to 22 to 25 seats in the House. That's not good. The other thing I think that concerns us is the danger of having deadly cells. The FBI directors warned us 6 times in Congress, that is, that we have sleeper cells now in the country that have been identified with a hatred for America. Okay, so those are 2 things to consider. And the third quick thing is you have a lot of crime and a lot of things happening right now that I think that it concerns the people. So going into the election, the border is one of the number one things still, and the economy. They're linked together, but crime and concern for future. You just have a desire to have something better for your kids, but the first time now in 35 years, parents can't hope that their kids will have a better life than them. There's a good chance a lot of kids are actually going to take a step down from the life their parents had because of the way the economy's going. This is Macil Duncan. I'll be back for the final hour here at the Macil Duncan Show. Please call in at 629-282-1776. That's 629-282-1776. Leave a message on why you love America and why you listen to the show. I'll be back.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, my friend. This is Macil Duncan. It is the 5 o'clock hour, and here we are talking about different things happening in the country. And I think the big shockaroo, if it is one, is that there was a world leader that was killed. Here is the update.
Has declared 5 days of mourning after its president and foreign minister died in a helicopter crash Sunday. As Erica Brown reports, right now, the cause of the crash is unknown.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was considered the second most powerful leader in the nation. His sudden death comes at a time of extreme tension in the Middle East. His helicopter went down in the mountains of northern Iran, and search teams spent hours looking for the wreckage in dense fog. President Raisi was returning from a meeting with the leader of neighboring Azerbaijan. Iran's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, was also killed in the crash. Iran's cabinet said the hard-working president had been martyred, vowing the government would operate without the slightest disruption.
And they've pretty much gone on to say they believe he was killed, and we will see in time what America is response officially. But that's a sad day. So keep that in your prayers. Keep the world in your prayers, because when you're at war, like Iran and Israel technically are, and go back. This goes back to when I put a little bit of blame on Mr. Biden when he unfroze those funds that Trump froze and allowed Iran to have those billions of dollars. Weeks later, you have the October 7th attack from Hamas, who is definitely an arm of the Iranian mindset of wanting global domination for the Islamic faith, and let's just say it's not a pretty sight. So let's just keep them in our prayers, and we'll see more and more as the time goes on. Michael Cohen pled guilty or not pled guilty, excuse me, he confessed to 6 crimes that's considered grand larceny, as he admitted he stole from Donald Trump while serving as his quote-unquote fixer, and has actually become, some people say, more of a liability than a help. So it'll be interesting to see how much longer the prosecution tries to go with this. But I think a lot of folks are looking for the interesting day when more than likely they're either going to have to drop these crazy charges or possibly have a moment where they just say, listen, jury, go do your thing. Let's get this over with, because it doesn't look like it's going to go well. United Methodist have had a big split. I think they went to the Baptist school, because that's what Baptists are known for. Baptists are known for splitting churches, fried chicken, and jacking up the numbers, okay? Because I is one. I love it. I tell folks, it's in my book, don't worry about the ABCs, attendance, baptisms, and cash. That's usually what most churches, especially in the Baptist ranks, you get around pastors, they're so it shows how nervous they are. They're dying to compare themselves to the church down the road. They want to make sure they got more money, more people involved, and more baptisms, so somehow that makes them feel safe, if you will. God doesn't look at numbers like that. Now, there's a book of the Bible called Numbers, but don't get your total validation of success based on numbers. There should be other things that bring validation. You know, how many have you called into the ministry? That won't be huge, but if you're not sending folks out into the world to represent Christ, you need to ask your church, what are you doing then? If all you do is entertaining, you know, if you're nothing but an American Idol smoke machine type pageantry week in and week out, yeah, you're probably making yourself happier than you think you are making God happy. But let me tell you 2 things. When you're making God happy, one is there's repentance of sin, and there's answered prayer. 2 things you just can't mistake. When you are having a church that's rocking and rolling and punching a hole in hell, you're seeing answered prayers, and you're seeing tearful repentance of sin. Because when you have church doing business as usual and no tears and no answered prayers, my friend, then you're living off the old manna, and you're probably full of pride, and it's something you ought to work with. Because if you're not careful, what will happen is what's happened now to once great denomination. The Wesley brothers founded the Methodist Church. If you didn't know this, you need to go do your study, called the Haystack Meetings. They would ride on their horseback across the country, and they would preach, sometimes just from their saddle, because people would do a harvest, and they would make these big haystacks out in the field. Well, as they were, because they worked till daylight, till dark, then they would have bonfires, if you will, and serve their meal. Well, that's when the Wesley brothers knew, hey, they weren't working, they were assembled, if you will, so they called them the Haystack Meetings. At night, they would go and preach. And the Methodist denomination from the Wesley brothers was birthed, and it was the Methodists that took the gospel out west. But the more white collar that the Methodists became, they became a little more affluent and less evangelistic. That's just a fact. And here is what they become as of now, which is very sad. Yeah! And we're going to go right here to this one.
The United Methodist Church has announced that it is officially lifting its ban on gay clergy and same-sex marriages. The change comes after nearly 8,000 congregations disaffiliated from the UMC since 2019.
Now, I know for a fact the Appleton Methodist Church across the street from us disaffiliated from the Methodist Church because they could not embrace this liberal way. And let me tell you what they had to do. They had to raise their own money. They had to buy the land and the buildings from the what you call the United Methodist and become part of what is known as the Global Methodist. But the United Methodist Church right now in America, the official denomination, has now embraced transgenderism, homosexual marriage, homosexual lifestyle, and things that go pretty much against Scripture. And here's some more from the 700 Club on the United Methodist and their fall from grace.
Resulting in the loss of almost 1/4 of its members over the past 5 years due to this issue. Youth, culture, and religion expert Alex McFarland of Alex McFarland Ministries joins us now to provide more information on this topic. Alex, it's good to talk with you again. So you contend the Methodist Church hierarchy has abusively manipulated church members on this issue. Please explain that.
What breaks my heart is not just the UMC's betrayal of Scripture and absolute just deconstruction and denial of the Word of God. I don't use this term lightly, but what the UMC has engaged in is really apostasy, is the denial of God's Word. But what really breaks my heart is as I'm working with these congregations that are starting from scratch and going to reconstitute themselves to fulfill the Great Commission.
So if you are of Methodist background and you would like to stay with a traditional Methodist church, try the Appleton United Methodist Church in Appleton, Tennessee. I happen to know the church members very well, and their new pastor, Sam Reese, is a friend of mine. And they are a great church focused on those issues. And I just thought I'd mention that because of the conversations I've had with them and the Keaton family and the others that had to battle to keep that church afloat. Because there was an attempt to pretty much, it appeared, to discourage them with some acts of the area leadership, if you will. But through prayer, and I was a prayer partner for them through that, they came through like champs. And so good job, guys. But the Methodist Church, as we know it, is guilty of apostasy, many believe, because I know some of you can get all emotional about it, but transgenderism and homosexuality are considered sin in the Bible, and if the Bible calls it sin, it's sin. You can do a salad bar mentality and say, well, wait a minute, I don't believe in that today. This is today, that was then. My friend, the Word of God says the Word of God is without age, and it's infallible, and I believe it's what we need. It's the plumb line for life. Our founding fathers believed in the Bible. If you don't believe me, I've got a great book here. The Prayer is a Vital Key. It's called If My People. It's a prayer guide for our nation, and it's got tons of prayers and Bible verses that represent the beliefs of our forefathers and what they believed here in this country. And George Washington, if you have a chance, go look up his farewell address. George Washington used Scripture all through his diaries and his spokesmanship. And he was even, I've mentioned to you before, he was the chaplain of the Virginia militia when he was the colonel of an army before he became a general. And he would never issue an attack on a Sunday. He believed that was a day of worship. And he was also a great man of prayer. And you guys remember the famous prayer at Valley Forge. So look at the different heritage of faith. Even though they try to rewrite history, rewrite our national anthem, they try to rewrite things. Understand that God has the fingerprints, if you will, on what is true and what is just. And even though some are trying to doubt the Bible today, coming up with flat earth or trying to act like books of the Bible are missing, and that the Bible that we have today is not the complete Bible, I think God's big enough to put together the Bible. Sure, there's other books you might want to read. You know, I know my Catholic friends have the Apocrypha. They have additional, and I'm not one that's going to knock it, but I do not put the 6 books of the Apocrypha at the same level I would the 66 books in the Old and New Testament. That's just me, and that's my belief, and I'm sticking with it. I'll be back after the break. This is the Macil Duncan Show, live from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Hello, my name's Dave. I'm a Vietnam veteran and live in North Georgia, not far from East Ridge, Tennessee. I like listening to Patriot pastor Macil Duncan. He keeps up with fast-moving news, which keeps me on the cutting edge of information that we all need to know. I like the music and stories he has. I like that he helps.
So you think you know Wix?
And we can all help with that. I love God, and America is my country. Thank you for all that you do. Goodbye.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the show, my friends. This is Macil Duncan, and this is the Macil Duncan Show, broadcast live from Chattanooga, Tennessee on USA Heartbeat Radio, Street Level America, Destiny Media, and we're in 32 states, Mexico, and Canada. And thank you for liking and sharing the show and telling your friends. If you would like to call in and make a comment about the show or why you love America, call 629-282-1776. That's 629-282-1776. We appreciate it, and you'll be hearing some throughout the show of folks that have called in. Well, a new survey has come out, the Daily Mail, and this is rather explosive and not good news for the Democrats, if you will. An explosive new survey shows how many voters want lockups and deportations to tackle the migrant surge. This is the highest it's been now, my friends. More than, let's see, it says more than half of voters want non-illegal immigrants rounded up and kicked out of the country because of the crime, the squatters in homes, the federal funding that's not being spent on American citizens but on illegal aliens. It's adding up a lot of frustration. Fears about America's immigration crisis have been laid bare by a poll that shows a broad support for roundup and mass deportations of non-legal migrants. 56% of voters said most of the immigrants in the U.S. illegally should be rounded up and deported. This is a Reuters poll that just dropped today. So 56% of voters said these are likely voters. These aren't just these are folks that are going to vote. And so I've said this before. I believe what's going to happen in 2024. I believe it'll be a record turnout. They thought 2020 was a record turnout. Of course, you had a lot of those ballots, because of COVID. Let's say barring a World Health Organization flu and barring some kind of crisis from the Biden administration, let's just say we have a straight-up fair election. And it'd be nice if we could. It'd be nice, but let's just say we did. You know what would happen? I believe the exit polling, what's going to drive a lot of people to the poll are three things, and let's be honest about it. One is the economy. Just like Clinton's guy said, it's the economy, stupid. People are having a tough time financially. Secondly, the thing that's going to drive them is the crime and the issues from the open border. Illegal immigration is out of control, and a lot of folks feel there's a better job we could do. So you've kind of got those mixed together, the economy and illegal immigration. But I believe the third thing that's going to climb up in there is people are not comfortable with the sexualized, the transgender, and all these things. People are voting with their feet and voting with their pocketbook. And the push. Now, I just told about an hour ago, Louisiana has just passed a law, and the governor's going to sign, that if you are in Louisiana and you're on a public school property, you have to use the bathroom of your assigned gender at birth. You can say, hey, I think I'm a girl today. Well, too bad, so sad. If you were born a boy, you got to go to the boys' room. If you were born a girl, you got to go to the girls' room. No more of this confusion on the school campuses. And I give a pastor salute to Louisiana. Way to go, Idaho. We need more people to stand up and say those things. Now, if you're an adult and you're at some adult setting, as sick as I think it would be, that's one thing. But you should not be allowed to have kids interact in different gender bathrooms. It's not right, and I disagree. And I think that's why you're seeing this big push, 56%, and that's the highest it's been. Another new survey out, and this is the History Daily, which leans left. It's not a conservative paper. It says a new survey suggests climate change scam is now the name. People are not believing in climate change. Only 45% of Americans see climate change as an issue in the upcoming election. Now, just a few years ago, they had climate change up in the 62% concern ratio. So for it to drop from 62% to 45% tells you that a lot of folks are looking at the climate change and the mantra and saying, it just doesn't make sense. They talked about there's going to be global freezing. Oh, no, it's going to be global warming. Oh, no, this and that. All these things. If you go watch the movie Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, none of it has happened. And it's been over 15 years. So I think they need to relabel the movie Inconvenient Fiction. And poor Al Gore, who once was a senator from Tennessee that we once respected, is going to probably die a man laughed at, especially when he said he invented the internet. So it's very interesting. But with the election coming up, there's a lot of people talking about the election. And will the election be fair? Will folks be able to accept the results? But don't forget, it's not just Donald Trump. Do you remember when Hillary Clinton said this about the 2016 election?
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president.
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
That was Hillary Clinton, okay? Sour grapes, sour apples. Now, just because Donald Trump said he didn't agree with the outcome, then they had to make January 6th this big crazy prosecution that they've turned it into trying to cover any people that say, hey, I don't agree with you. And that's the problem. It's only free speech when you agree with the left. If you are someone of a conservative, you're not allowed to say that. But Hillary Clinton came right out and she said, if you heard her very clearly, she said on many occasions,
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
She called Donald Trump the illegitimate president. You remember? And she said it for a long time. Now, here's the other interesting thing. Let's play the rest of this.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
So the seems to be panic on the DNC side. Now, the other thing that has come out, and I shared this earlier in the show, was that there's concern that there might be an switcheroo. Operation Oust Joe Biden is very real. The Democrats are setting him up for failure. Joe Biden has been making a lot of errors, and the Stinchfield report brought that up. But let me just play one if you didn't heard. He definitely made a major boo-boo on this speech just a day or so ago.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic.
Sir, you were not vice president during the pandemic, okay? You weren't even in office. Donald Trump was president during the pandemic.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well,
now, the mayor of the city is laughing his butt off on stage. But again, this is Joe Biden.
Poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. God love you. And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic.
He's claiming he was vice president during the pandemic, and Barack Obama sent him to Detroit?
And what happened was, Barack said to me, go to Detroit.
So you got what is making him have this memory lapse, this loss of sanity, if you will, and people are concerned that he doesn't seem to have it together, doesn't have an understanding of what this is, and there's a big concern. And so the other thing they're finding out is that the Michael Cohen case is almost over. Cohen admitted today on the stand to 6 counts of felony. That's right. He admitted under oath that he stole money from Donald Trump.
Finch. And Cohen confirms that he owed Red Finch $50,000 and never paid the full cash.
So what are you going to do?
Trump's attorney, Bland, says, you stole from the Trump Organization. Cohen says, yes, sir. He also confirms lying to Alan Weisselberg. I don't know how many that is on the list, but that's...
I'll tell you a secret.
That's another prevarication. And Cohen says he never pleaded guilty to larceny. On they go. Blanche presses Cohen. You did steal from the Trump Organization based upon the expected reimbursement of Red Finch. And he says, yes, sir.
So on 6 occasions under oath, Cohen today on the stand admitted to stealing money from the Trump Organization. He's their lead witness. This trial is over. I really hope that this judge will call a mistrial and not embarrass the people into thinking that there's something there. When we come back, we're going to talk about an issue that might be of interest to you.
To you offering to put the mark of the beast on your body, would you accept it?
That's a good question. If you were offered the mark of the beast, would you allow it even to feed your family? I'll be back.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If someone came to you offering to put the mark of the beast on your body, would you accept it? I believe the majority's answer would be no. However, the project of the mark of the beast is already a reality in our society, and many people are falling into this trap without even realizing it. Could you be one of them? Would you be able to recognize the signs that this is already happening? In today's video,
and we'll talk about some more of this, but the mark of the beast. Now, Revelation says in chapter 13, you will not be able to do commerce without the mark of the beast. So technology has advanced to a level that the mark of the beast could be given to us. Now, just because you have a chip doesn't make it the mark of the beast, but it will be a tool used by the Antichrist. Now, check out this update about Elon Musk's chip in the head.
Last week, Straight Arrow News reported Neuralink knew of potential issues with the wire threads in its brain chip implant after several wires detached from the brain of the company's first human patient. The device allows users to control digital interfaces using only their brain signals. Now, after Elon Musk made significant design modifications to the implant to fix the detachment problem, the Food and Drug Administration has given the thumbs up for a second human trial for the brain chip technology. An estimated 180,000 Americans live with quadriplegia. And every year, about 18,000 more individuals suffer life-altering spinal cord injuries. Musk Neuralink has developed an innovative brain chip implant that promises to enhance the quality of life for these individuals.
So they're producing a plant that will go in your head, and some possibly could walk again or have some more mobility than they can have now, and that would be a nice thing. Again, the chip in the brain is not the bad thing. It's just that the evil intent. It's just like a gun to me. It's not that it's an evil person holding the gun that causes the problem. And that's why I get so frustrated with these people thinking we need to get rid of guns. All you're going to do is the bad people will have the guns, and you're going to put the good people at risk. So with the FDA, why is the FDA, by the way, Food and Drug Administration, why are they involved in this technology? I don't know. But the interesting thing is you go back and you start thinking about the end times, and this kind of technology will be used by the Antichrist, I believe, no doubt. Because Klaus Schwab has said you'll own nothing and be happy. That would be to me an Antichrist when he comes in. He's going to offer world peace. But the other interesting thing is if you read Revelations 13, you will not be able to do commerce, so there'll be some kind of a chip, it says, planted in the hand and the forehead. So these chips are already amongst us and could do this very thing. Okay, it just has not been, a law. But the World Health Organization is trying to make it to where all countries would bow to if they have a mandate, that their law would supersede all national laws. Okay? Now think about that. If they ever get some kind of a global view that their law would supersede national laws, and Britain just voted not to do this, the state of Louisiana has said that we're not doing that. We will not acknowledge anything but the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, etc., the laws that govern this country. We will not bow to a global law. So here's where the skinny hits the road. Donald Trump's a nationalist. Make America great again. Okay, that can you've been probably triggered to think that's a bad thing, but really what it does, it says I want to take care of my home base first. Make America great again. It's nationalism. Now they've tried to even come up with a term called Christian nationalist, as if that's a bad thing, that we're white, racist, nationalists, that they're into the blame and shame and the labeling. Okay? Don't forget the name Christian was first used by Romans to try to shame those that follow Christ. The word Christian means little Christ or little Christian. Making light and trying to act like Christians are little and they have no value. Well, the term Christian, even though it was meant to be derogatory, we've embraced it, and now we call ourselves a Christian. So the Christian nationalist, I say thank you. I kind of like the tone of that, my lip-lock liberal friend, and I will embrace it very, very with a smile on my face. But if the Antichrist comes in, I shouldn't say if, but when, according to the Bible, will he use some technology? He will have to. It says he will perform certain types of miracles that will baffle the people. And with the ability with AI, artificial intelligence, chips, because don't forget also Klaus Schwab said from Davos 3 years ago that you will no longer need keyboards and screens in the future. That you will have chips implanted in your head, and through that you'll be able to view in your brain like you would on a computer screen, and you will think like sending an email, etc., or a text message. You won't need devices anymore. Is that not a little weird? But does that help explain to you when it says in Revelation, anyone that takes the mark of the beast shall not enter the kingdom of God? There's a good belief, in my opinion, that you'll surrender your capabilities to think and your independent, because God gives us free will. But if the devil goes in and captures your mind and you, with free will, give it to him, that's the thing. So it's going to be interesting. Keep your mind and eyes open. But the thing you ought to be paying attention to is we're going more and more cashless. We've now had 2,800 ATMs that have gone out across the nation, and they've not been. They just don't replace them. So as people get, they're not writing checks anymore. They're trying to get us not to use cash anymore. If they can get us to go to a cashless society, That would be a big step. And don't forget, in the lockdowns, one thing they wanted in COVID was they wanted you to have not only the vaccines, but some kind of card proving that you had all your shots. Do you remember that? Or you couldn't enter certain sporting events or certain areas, depending on if you were in a blue state, especially. So you got to ask yourself, is that what they're going to go to? If the World Health Organization could have dominion over all national laws across the country and say, hey, here's the new laws of the land, they could declare indefinitely a virus or some kind of health concern and then take over the world and put their person in charge. And if we go cashless, you don't have to have any currency exchange. If you have the chips put in, all your ability to do commerce and stuff would be as long as you're a good boy and good girl. And if you go to completely EVs, electric vehicles, they could control how far you can go. You're a bad boy or bad girl on the social internet, or you say something they don't like, they turn your car off. They turn off your power. Think about it. They're taking away your independence one small step at a time. And many of you are not even seeing it because you're saying, hey, everything's faster, everything's cooler. And I'm so excited. You need to be mindful, my friend. There's a lot of folks saying, I don't like the way things are going because I can't afford to live. Here's the testimony of some millennials saying, I make more money now, but I can't make it happen.
There's a trend on social media of millennials saying they make more than they ever have, but still can't make ends meet.
But I'm making the most money I ever had my entire life. My husband and I, between the two of us, gross, make over $80,000 a year. And if you told me a few years ago that $80,000 a year was not going to be enough for a family of four.
I make more than what I made back in 2015, but I am still literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet. That's insane.
But that is the insanity that will bring you to accept a global leader. When they say, well, listen, let's just get rid of cash. Let's get rid of debt. Hey, let's pay off your student loans. Let's just take care of everything. You don't have to pay for a dime because, that's why you got to trust the government, because the government can take care of everything. Like my buddy Tim Hawkins sings. See what you think.
Hey, everybody, gather round. I'm here to give you anything you like. You want free college, energy, mortgages, whatever you like. You have come to the right place. Why? I'll tell you why. Who can take your money? Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye. A twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government. The government can. The government can. And who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the trees? Who can tax the trees? Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government. Throw away the Constitution. And who can give a bailout? Who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. Tell us to behave. And make the founding fathers roll over in their grave. The government. The government. Oh, the government can. The government can. And the government can, 'cause they mix it up with ours and make it all taste good.
I'll be back. That's Tim Hawkins. Go check out Tim Hawkins, The Government Can, on YouTube. Quite amusing.
It's a new day in Chattanooga. This is WVMG Chattanooga.
What I know learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.3333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
What is next for Iran now that its president has died? The Islamic Republic is governed very differently from the U.S. The impact of the president's death leads to a host of questions about what's next for the nation the U.S. has labeled the leading sponsor of terrorism, including who is at the top of the chain of command. Here, it's the president. In Iran, it's the supreme leader, and the president works under him. The death of President Ebrahim Raisi is major news out of Iran. The hierarchy of their governing system helps answer a lot of the unanswered questions right now in a country that is a U.S. adversary, including what sort of impact the death of Iran's president could have on the Israel-Hamas war raging in the Middle East. Iran is the only country in the world in which the executive branch doesn't control its armed forces. It's the supreme leader. Ayatollah Khamenei, he is the only one who can declare war or make military decisions in the country, like the barrage of missiles Iran unloaded against Israel last month. It was at the supreme leader's orders, then carried out by President Raisi. Much of the power in the country lies solely at the feet of the supreme leader. Khamenei controls Iran's policies, both at home and its foreign policy. He controls intelligence and security operations. He appoints people to powerful positions that surround him. The president of the country is the second highest ranking official, but the power in this position is severely limited by the overarching authority the supreme leader has. the president is an elected position. This means in the short term, Mohammed Mokhbar, one of Iran's 12 vice presidents, has been appointed by the supreme leader as the interim president.
So you get the picture. Iran, they have 12 vice presidents. How about that? And so they have a different way of governing, okay? Much like we have a president, vice president, speaker of the House, etc. They've got it different. But the supreme leader, so mind you, even though the president of Iran was killed in a helicopter crash yesterday, it was confirmed this morning, the supreme leader who's still in charge is still in charge. So they won't miss a beat more than likely on their agenda and what they do. And so I think that's going to be interesting. Also, the Biden administration to end mining leases. Check this out. This is not going to be good with an election year coming up.
Nearly half of America's coal comes from right here in the Powder River Basin, helping power about a fifth of the nation. But now, the U.S. government is getting serious about ending mining in the region, taking its biggest step yet towards retiring the industry. The White House said it will no longer offer new coal leases, leaving billions of tons of the resource untapped. The 14 active coal mines in the region will be allowed to continue operations for now, though they cannot expand further. An environmental impact statement from the Bureau of Land Management found continued mining would harm the climate and public health.
And I mentioned to you earlier the new survey out by the History Daily that suggests that climate change has lost its luster. It used to be 62% of voters concerned. It's dropped to 45%. So I think they're seeing that their green energy Scooby-Doo scare tactics, they're not working. People are not buying it, and I think we're seeing that the climate change is nothing but a hoax. It's one of those hustlers out to sell something, and I think a lot of folks are saying, I don't buy it. Well, this is another news report. I thought this just dropped, and this is verification that Israeli children that are being held hostage are being forced to film propaganda videos to stay alive.
Israel Defense Forces released a disturbing video Sunday depicting former hostages, 8-year-old Ela Eliakim and her 15-year-old sister Daphna, being coerced by Hamas terrorists into recording a message. At the request of the girl's family, the video was released publicly to expose what they called the cruelty of Hamas. The sisters were held for 51 days before their release November 26th during a temporary truce. This footage, recovered by IDF troops during ground operations in Gaza, shows the young sisters being coerced into repeatedly reading from a script asking Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to free them. Alongside the video, the IDF also released a photo of Ela with her sister Daphna, both pictured in front of a Hamas banner. The sisters were kidnapped from their home on October 7th during a surprise attack by Hamas. That attack also claimed their father's life. According to IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari, the video was originally produced by Hamas to inflict psychological terror. Ela reported that she was forced to read from a script and change clothes multiple times for the recording. The release of this footage comes amidst deepening political divisions within Israel regarding the ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
So this is what goes on with terrorist groups like Hamas. They prey on children and those that can't defend themselves. And it's very disgusting, and I pray for the defeat of Hamas, and I pray that America will stand tall and strong, which I hope we will. But there is one American that recently stood tall and gave a lot of us hope that there's still good people out there.
Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker is facing major backlash after addressing the graduates of a Catholic school, Benedictine College.
I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
And so supposedly that was outrageous. Well, on the Daily Wire, Patricia Heaton, you may remember her from Everybody Loves Raymond. She portrayed his wife on the sitcom. Patricia Heaton on Harrison Buckner commencement speech. She says nothing offensive about what he said. And she went on to affirm what he said. And a lot of folks are coming out and saying, hey, this guy did nothing wrong. But there was doxing. There was a media meltdown. They went crazy trying to get him fired. But he withstood through it all. And Christian, it should give you hope that when you do the right things and you stand tall, in the end, you'll find, I think, the hand of God helping you. This guy actually has the Attorney General now looking into pressing charges against the people in political areas and stuff, even the NFL, that was considering fining him for his freedom of speech. The NFL is just gone too crazy. But I'll tell you the other thing interesting is the punter. And punters aren't known for being super popular. But this punter, his jersey is the #1 selling jersey right now in the NFL. He has sold more jerseys than any other NFL player, and it's just been the past few days. So he, in a few days, has sold more than others for the whole year. And Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. So, Pastor, salute to you, sir, and I hope, Mr. Buckner, you and your message will go strong to many. We're about to wrap up the show, and I want to remind you that myforevermemories.com is a wonderful opportunity for you. It's Memorial Day coming up, and this is something you can purchase. I think it's $29.99. It's a nice plexiglass, weatherproof item that you put at your loved one's graveside, and you can put a picture in or details about the one you love. And it allows also for a removable top if people want to drop messages. It's a wonderful thing for you to consider on Memorial Day, especially if you have one of those wonderful people that folks tend to want to go and visit all the time. myforevermemories.com. You can go into usaheartbeat.com website and find out more about My Forever Memories, and I highly recommend. Well, my name is Macil Duncan. This is the Macil Duncan Show. Don't forget my book, Move Your Mountains, Learn the Journey of Faith That Can Overcome. You can buy those at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, etc. I got to go to J-Fest, and we had a booth, and I sold some books and autographed and met some of the listeners. And I appreciate all that came out to J-Fest. What a success it was. And I hope you guys will find, even though it's a sister radio station here in Chattanooga, we like to be a good team for Christ. And don't forget, if you're looking for a church home, we'd love to have you here at Appleton Baptist. But on Sunday mornings, you can listen to Metro Tab each and every Sunday at 10:30. That's when their service starts. You can turn on 96.9 FM and listen to Dr. Steve Ball, his sweet wife, and all the other leaders they have there at Metro Tab. And that's each and every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Well, God bless, Godspeed, my friend. I'll be back tomorrow. Keep the world in prayer. In America, never believe for a heartbeat that you don't have a God that loves you and that there's not hope for tomorrow. I believe big time the best days are ahead. I'll be back tomorrow.